graphic design video essay by Denzel Weeks. There's more beyond the cover. When we think about album covers, it's easy to see them as just packaging or something made to look nice to help sell music. But album covers often carry deeper meanings, acting as visual statements that shape how we understand the music before we even press play on a song. Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly is one of the clearest examples of this idea. The album cover isn't just an image, it's a work of political graphic design. It pulls from documentary photography, protest art, propaganda, and hip hop to communicate ideas about race, power, and America. In many ways, the cover shapes the meaning of the album just as powerfully as the music does. Kendrick has used album imagery intentionally throughout his career. A more recent example is Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, where the cover reflects themes of trauma, healing, and accountability. But To Pimp a Butterfly stands out as one of the most impactful and widely discussed albums. Released during a time of heightened racial tension in the United States, the album resonated deeply because it spoke honestly about systematic oppression, black identities, and survival. The cover prepares us for those themes before we even press play on the first track. The black and white photography used in To Pimp a Butterfly immediately places it within the tradition of documentary photography, which the earliest example I could find was the work of Dorothea Lange, an American photographer best known for documenting hardship during the Great Depression. Lange's photographs focused on physical bodies, raw emotions, and lived experiences. Her work didn't romanticize the struggle. It presented it as a reality shaped by larger systems. In a similar way, Kendrick's album cover emphasizes real bodies and collective presence, rather than polished perfection. The images feel less like staged photo shoots and more like historical documents. By using this style, the album cover suggests that the stories told in the music are not fictional or exaggerated. They are grounded in lived experiences and systematic inequality, just like the realities Lange captured with her camera. The collective nature also reflects the visual language of Black Panther activists and protests from the 1960s. During this era, imagery was used as a tool for resilience, emphasizing unity, confrontation, and visibility. Instead of celebrating one individual, To Pimp a Butterfly prioritizes collective identity. The figures stand together in front of the White House, reclaiming an institutional space that has historically excluded black voices. Their posture is confrontational, unapologetic, and intentionally disruptive. At the center of the image lies a fallen judge, which symbolizes a critique of the judicial system. This detail reinforces the album's themes of justice and systematic failure. Like protest posters of the time, the cover doesn't ask for approval, but it demands attention. Similarities can also be seen with Cuban revolutionary posters from the 1970s. These posters rejected Western graphic design traditions that focus on an individual hero and instead highlights collective struggle and solidarity. Group imagery in revolutionary posters was meant to show unity as a source of power. The figures are not presented as celebrities or icons, but as members of a collective with shared experiences and shared hardship. Even when we look at Soviet Union posters and World War II propaganda, comparisons and similarities can be seen. Traditionally, propaganda uses strong group imagery to glorify the state and reinforce authority. However, While the structure feels similar, the message is inverted. The White House is pushed into the background, stripped of its authority, while marginalizing bodies take center stage. By borrowing the visual language of power and rejecting its ideology, the album cover exposes how imagery has historically been used to control narratives and how it can be reclaimed to challenge those narratives. And throughout hip hop history, we can also see this has been done by It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back by Public Enemy and Straight Outta Compton, which all three of them make the shift from individual struggle to systemic critique. There is no single focal point in the image, which reinforces the album's emphasis on collective consciousness. So to end it, album covers are more than just decoration. They are depictions that shape Black evolution, resistance, and revolution. The imagery sets expectations before the music hits, preparing the listener for a deeply political and emotional experience. More importantly, it reveals uncomfortable truths about race, power, and American identity. In this way, the album cover becomes more than just an image. It becomes a visual argument, one that continues to speak long after the song ends.